like those shoes.
Oh, thank you.
And the music has been beautiful so far. This first one's called Heidegger, White Fire. This is me in the spotlight tonight, questioning my existence, losing it loosely, and finding through loss and absence of resistance to this and what might be. This feels right. This spilling, this transformation of what was once inside, now out, new communication. The back and forth, the residue on the floor, in the air, in you now. Finding myself in this process, ripping through the thickness is how. Touching and touch, and my spine is tingling again. But unlike how it was back then, when what no longer is was, in your touch and the fading. Something about this one tastes fresh, resulting in a drive to waste less moments, experiences, intensity, vivid electric brightness. I have the right lenses on tonight and I am dancing, rejoicing in the lightness, taking aim with care, without thought that I might miss the mark, because the target is less important than the path there. And unexpected penetration ain't really the worst outcome where I'm concerned. Just feeling and being now, erupting aware as I had not been prior, and the attraction to more of the actual, a well-fueled and fanned flame, a fantastic white fire. Thanks.
Yeah.
This one's called Consent. I wish it went without saying, but please know that you do not have to settle ever for someone who can't respect your no or your hesitancy, thinking that they're clever, by continuing to push, trying to break you down until you submit. It makes me sick knowing that someone can be incapable of understanding no and know that that's it. The pitiful, disgusting aggression that they think is okay because you said yes to a date is not cute or harmless. Proceeding after the slightest hint of reluctance is called one thing, rape. And the causing of devastating harm and pain that never goes away should be looked at as anything but a conquest. It's a trauma, and the reverberating ripples of which can be seen in the root of the word, which suggest piercing, twisting, turning, an irreversible impact on the body and soul of another human being. Sometimes I wish I could close my eyes, but I can't, and I won't choose to be blind, not seeing the effects of such brutality on so many of our sisters and mothers and daughters. I hate the minuscule limits of what I am able to influence, but I am able to offer up the assurance that I will do my part, no matter how large or small the magnitude, no matter what it means to work and be wholeheartedly opposed to those with the attitude that they're entitled to another person and impose themselves as a result. If it is words that are required, I readily offer them. If actions, I am willing, because if not, I am also at fault. I know that if I hold back or in any way do not do everything humanly possible to fight against this type of abuse, that inaction speaks louder than any words to the contrary. And if I lived a life of such hypocrisy, what would be the use? Thanks. A little lighter note, the heavy melting. Where to begin? A wise man once told me, dude, just get it started. Well, without a doubt, something significant has been imparted to me with the obligation to, with words, attempt to do justice to this expanding feeling. An element of growing momentum, but with a definite alteration of the senses. A lens replacement, along with new ears, and I think my old taste buds went the way of all who are now dust. And there's no question, it is not just the seeing and the hearing and the tasting. I am feeling like I never felt, touched as never before, but other than or beyond the emotionality of old. Oh, the colorful, velvety smoothness of these smells. In describing this, I need to mention time and how it now swells. And the seconds are no longer what they once were, a whole new style. I guess you could call them more productively volatile. I heard it described as gunpowder now being in my hourglass, the toxin, the ticks resulting in more than shattered glass. I don't think it's for me to say, so I won't call my moments deadly. The powder is not what does the killing. That which it propels is now ready for the spark. 'Tis all that's needed for an explosively reactive occurrence. Not for the meek or mild-hearted, though. It requires a solid form of fortitude and endurance. So ready or not, the time is now when the heavy melting has commenced, from the inside out, as opposed to the outer smoothing of dents. internal dripping and pooling, seepage, leaking, understanding that cooling only means the molecules are slowing, resulting in the changing of states, but still glowing. And it does not just refer to external excitement or illuminations. These levels, these depths, multi-sensical, tri-dimensional hallucinations are sometimes discarded as insignificant. But that notion precludes the dismisser from the nearest he might ever get to the real, to Edge City. So many remain strangers with regard to the pure, never having met or experienced it in all its ageless glory, thinking the end of their noses the extent of their story. Thanks.
Yeah.
With one last one. Some of these feel like they contain more life than others, but I'm thinking these nows are each the same in terms of the potential contained within, in the vacillating variables me, and what I allow to begin, to blossom, to grow, to live, or otherwise in me. Each moment brings with it the infinite gamble, everything except a guarantee. To choose the open, the route of life allowing, or a closed breathing death is a choice made now. Not then or there, or when this falls in line, or that, or him, or her, or once I have enough of, or more of, or as soon as the ups and downs turn flat. If my choice to live, to love, to embrace, to abandon fear, to allow the vulnerability that can seem terrifying is not made here, and it's deferred until somewhere or some place or some time other, I will eternally exist in the barely alive realm of the cowardly limited, never knowing or experiencing another. A travesty that cannot and will not be averted for me, which, like everything that has ever been up to this point, brings me to this, here, this black ink spilling, these letters in their combination, this westward-facing porch, this late spring rain, he drops nonverbal incantations, each loaded with the chance to be magically utilized by the living, the growing, to be transformed into that life and that growth, potential of a clump of oxygen and hydrogen realized. The roots of these trees, this infant sunflower, do not know how to not make the most of this rain. They do not have the ability to take for granted such essential substances, banking on them coming again. Just as nutrients cannot be taken up or intercepted by the roots of a plant anywhere, anytime other than here, this storm, I cannot absurdly assume I will live more fully when I arrive in some imaginary place or time that assumes a more favorable form. That does not exist, and it never did, and it never will. And to operate under that guise is to waste life waiting to live. A sunflower putting off the uptake of water until after it grows to a certain size. The neglecting of now absolutely prevents any possibility, which again brings me to this here, and the rain has ceased, and I see clearly the tragic consequences in belief solely in eventually. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, man.